Welcome to Ohio Roots, the official podcast of the Ohio Genealogical Society. Join us as we embark on a captivating journey through Ohio's rich genealogy, history, and abundant resources. Hosted by me, OGS Executive Director Noel Poirier, this podcast brings you insightful conversations with a diverse array of guests, from OGS members, chapter leaders, and staff to renowned genealogists, historians, and influential figures within the genealogical community. Each episode delves into fascinating topics and captivating stories. So grab your headphones, hit that play button, and join us on this enthralling journey of Ohio's roots. On this episode of the OGS Ohio Roots podcast, we are joined by OGS professional member Theresa Dandy, a genealogist who has turned a lifelong passion into a professional career. From uncovering the true Italian spelling of her surname to tracing her family back to the 1700s, Theresa has spent years mining census records and navigating the complexities of German and Italian research. She joins us to discuss her journey from a fourth-grade hobbyist to a professional researcher, sharing stories of family scoundrels, DNA matches, and the thrill of the hunt. I hope you enjoy this conversation with Theresa Dandy. Well, Theresa Dandy, thank you so much for joining me on today's episode of the OGS Ohio Roots podcast. I appreciate you taking some time out of what I'm sure is a very busy schedule to chat with me today.
Thank you so much. Glad to be here.
So talk to me about, it's a question I ask all of our guests, what got you hooked on genealogy in the first place?
So it's been something that I've had a lifelong passion for. I've been into genealogy since I was a kid. And once I kind of exhausted my resources, at least I thought I did young. And then I took a break and I came back to it. And coming back to it, I was able to go a lot further with my research. And it just seemed to really ignite that spark that wanted me to pursue it professionally.
Were there any ancestors or stories from your family history that kind of really kind of stuck with you and kind of kept your fire ignited for it?
Yeah. My paternal grandfather, affectionately called Papa, his family was from Italy, so he would always tell us stories about the old country, and that really sparked the interest.
So researching Italian ancestry has to be a bit of a challenge, though, doesn't it?
It is. Yeah.
Talk to me a little bit about your efforts in that area.
So my last name is Dandy. I found out later that the Italian version was Dentino.
Okay.
And phonetically, it was Dandino. And so I thought it was spelled Dandino. And it took me until about 15 years ago till I finally found out the actual surname was Dentino.
Okay. And how far have you managed to trace your papa's family?
Actually, quite a bit. I was able to get back to the 1700s.
Wow, that's very impressive.
Yeah.
A lot of us do this as a hobby. I do it as a hobby, despite the fact that I work for OGS. What made you think I want to transition this from just something I do as a hobby for myself, my own edification, to helping other people as a professional genealogist?
Mostly because I've wanted to, as soon as I get done with my day, that's the first thing I want to do when I get home. I walk my dog and then I want to jump right in. And so that's really what did it. I couldn't wait to get home and jump on it. And I actually had a few situations where I was able to help a friend. Mm-hmm. And that kind of pushed me like, okay, I'm going in the right path here.
Are you kind of self-taught, or talk to me about your background and how you've been working through your genealogy kind of
yeah, pretty much. I started my family tree through, it was a program called Summer Academy. It was through the TAG program. And I think I was in maybe 4th or 5th grade at the time. And one of the electives was to do your family tree. And so I was already interested in it. I thought, okay, I want to do my family tree. And I was already volunteering at the public library. My mom worked at the library, and so I would volunteer and shelve books. And there were oftentimes I would end up in our Ohio Anna room going through microfilm.
Are there particular areas of research that you kind of gravitate towards that you enjoy more than others?
I really enjoy digging in and mining the census records. Okay. Just really digging in. And of course, as you go back further, you don't have relationships to people in the older census records, and finding out who belonged with which family.
Right. What are some of the challenges that you face doing that with your own family?
A lot of misspellings, a lot of documents that were transcribed incorrectly. you find a lot of mistakes out there where people have and they're doing their best, but sometimes they do make mistakes, and you can't always trust an index.
How has your methodology kind of matured from being a fourth grader to what you do now?
Going through the sources and actually documenting where all those sources came from. When you're a kid, you hear the story, but doing this professionally is I have to back it up with sources. It has to be truth. It can't just be family lore. And I think that's the difference. Just making sure to find those.
Have there been breakthrough moments while you're researching either for yourself or for clients where you found something that they're like, that just blows them away?
Yeah. In fact, I'll share a story. I was unable to find my grandfather that we were talking about. I wasn't able to find him or his family in the 1920 census for years. This is actually just something I found a few weeks ago.
Oh, wow.
It was a big thing to celebrate. But yeah, I finally found it after all of these years. That was a big win because I've been searching for that one.
Where did that change anything about the context of his relationship or his life that you weren't aware of?
No, actually, the whole family was there.
Huh. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Other than your grandfather, which we talked about, what other kind of mysteries, either for yourself or others, have you kind of dug into?
This is kind of interesting. I had a friend that she never knew her biological father.
Okay.
And actually, it was a girlfriend of my friend. And so the first time I met her, we started talking about genealogy. And the next thing I know, I'm pulling up a picture of him, and she's never even seen him before. So she called her mom. Is this my father? Yep, that's him. And yeah, that was pretty.
And how was that
wild.
taken? How did she take that?
She was crying on the phone with her mom, and she wanted to know more.
That's great. Now, you're a member of the Ohio Genealogical Society, and we're not the only genealogical community out there in the world, obviously. How has kind of working with the genealogical community in general kind of helped you grow as a researcher and as a genealogist?
Well, I'm actually very new. I actually just joined the society just recently, just a few months ago. I still have yet to discover that.
Okay, well, great. You'll have to come to some of our conferences then. That'll be great.
Yes, I'd love to.
Do you collaborate with other researchers when you're doing research, or are you kind of a solo artist?
Actually, I enjoy collaborating.
Okay.
In fact, I found out some really good stuff by just collaborating. And one of those was a DNA cousin that popped up on my match list on Ancestry. Okay. And so my 2 times great-grandfather, he was a little bit of a scoundrel. And he actually shot and killed a man.
Oh, my.
He was in jail, broke out of jail. No one knew what happened to him after that. Met a DNA cousin. His great-grandfather was actually my 2 times great-grandfather's uncle, who was a U.S. Marshal.
Oh, wow.
And that U.S. Marshal was taking his nephew, who happened to be my 2 times great-grandfather, he was taking him supplies on the other side of the mountain. So had we not connected, we wouldn't have been able to put my story with his and actually figure out what really happened.
Hi, everyone. Noel Poirier here, Executive Director of the Ohio Genealogical Society and your host for the Ohio Roots podcast. Did you know you can help preserve the past and empower the future? Your donation to the Ohio Genealogical Society helps protect vital family history records and supports research for generations to come. Visit www.ogs.org/donate and give today. Thank you so much for your support. It's always fun. You look at census records or newspaper articles or things like that you can trace these things in, I'm sure. So that's always fun when you find kind of a scoundrel in the family. It's nice that we all have one scoundrel or another. Transitioning from kind of doing personal genealogy to doing professional genealogy, what are the biggest challenges you see or foresee in making that transition?
Well, I haven't really done a lot professionally yet. One of the challenges I found was just going back even on my research and questioning my research again. I'm actually redoing my tree. Okay. And I'm finding there were some things that I took at face value that maybe I need to take a look at again. And so that challenge right there, is like, okay, how accurate is this? Right.
Because you mentioned, noting sources is really important to you now, as you matured as a genealogist. But has any other aspect of your research process changed? Do you approach the work differently, or do you anticipate approaching the work differently when you're doing it for a client versus what you're doing for yourself?
Well, actually, I pretty much approach it the same.
Okay.
Because I want to find, I want to find the source, and if it's maybe an indirect source, I want to find, where did that come from?
Mm-hmm. Are there particular groups of people, whether it's ethnic groups or geographic groups, that you tend to focus on as a result of your own personal research?
I've been doing a lot of German research lately because my mom's side we've got a lot of German ancestors on that side. Mm-hmm. And that's been a whole new world getting into those German documents.
It's just fascinating to me because when, as someone myself who's kind of an amateur and does it as a hobby, I tend to get distracted very easily by the stories like yours.
It's so easy to get distracted. It's easy to end up in a rabbit hole.
Right. And I know how I try to deal with that, but how do you deal with that?
Sometimes I let myself go and just go down the rabbit hole. And sometimes my curiosity just has to take me there. And then I let myself do that. And then I dial it back and really focus on that research question.
When you're looking at genealogy in general, whether it's as a professional or an amateur or a hobbyist, what is it about what's happening in genealogy today that you think is most exciting and you're looking forward to seeing the results of it down the road? I'm
pretty amazed with all the DNA. We've gone leaps and bounds with the DNA recently, and just finding out, all the new technology, all the new everything.
If somebody's listening now and they're sitting back thinking, I love doing genealogy, I don't know that I can do it professionally, or maybe they'd like to do it professionally. What would you tell them to kind of motivate them to go ahead and make that leap and into going into doing it professionally?
Ooh, that's a good question. If the passion's there, go for it.
Mm-hmm. And when we talk about passion, we're talking about for the records, for the ancestors, or for all of it?
Pretty much all of it. I haven't encountered anything that I'm not interested in yet. I haven't really, everything is interesting to me right now.
If there's an ancestor in your family tree that you could sit down and interview and get the whole story from, have you figured out who that is yet?
That would be it would be my 3 times great grandmother, Mary Killen Holofield.
And why is that?
She would be the one. She actually, there's a memoir that someone interviewed her back in the day, and she was also bitten by a snake when she was young, and she on the census record, it actually said she was insane from the snake bite.
Oh my.
And I think that kind of impacted some of her storytelling as she went through life, and she would have been the mother of the one that shot the boy. So, she would have been, I would have loved to have sat down with her.
What skills have you carried from being a hobbyist to being a professional? What do you think is your best skill there?
Really the census records, just mining the census records and finding, finding all the little glitches and errors, and, it's always based on who they got the information from. So of course, census records aren't always accurate, but it really is a good basis for building.
Are you located in Ohio? I should have asked that at the beginning.
Yep. Okay, whereabouts? Toledo.
Yep. So you're not necessarily focused on Toledo ancestors, but that's your base of operations. If someone is interested in reaching out to you about getting some help doing some genealogy research, how would they go about getting in touch with you?
I do have a Facebook page. It's Trace Your Tree with Theresa, and I'll be on Instagram soon.
Okay, great. Well, Theresa, Danny, thank you so much for joining me today for the OGS Ohio Roots podcast. I appreciate you taking some time to talk about your kind of journey from hobbyist to professional, and I hope some people get inspired by it. So thanks for being here.
I hope so. Thank you so much. This has been fun.
That was Theresa Dandy sharing her insights on transitioning from a hobbyist to a professional genealogist. We hope her story inspires you to follow your own research passions, whether you're just starting out or looking to make it your career. If you'd like to connect with Theresa for help with your own family tree, you can find her on Facebook at Trace Your Tree with Theresa. Thank you for listening to the OGS Ohio Roots podcast. Be sure to subscribe for more expert interviews and genealogy tips. And until next time, happy hunting. If you enjoy listening to the Ohio Roots podcast, we would really appreciate it if you could go to whatever platform it is that you listen and give us a good review. Reviews help us get more listeners and reach more people with Ohio roots and what we're trying to do with the Ohio Genealogical Society. So please leave us a nice review, and thanks for listening.
The Ohio Roots podcast is brought to you by the Ohio Genealogical Society, the premier gateway for discovering your Ohio family history. Hosted by OGS Executive Director Noel Poyer and edited by Luke Poyer. Theme song is Beautiful Ohio, recorded by Bob Stanley and his orchestra in 1944. To learn more about joining the Ohio Genealogical Society, visit www.ogs.org.